In your decades of working here, have you ever had an in-game idea or segment that you pitched that was a total flop?
There's been a few.
Well, this is going to be good. I'm excited.
This is Rangers Deep in the Heart, your all-access pass to life in the big leagues with personal moments and heart-to-heart chats with Rangers players, their families, and staff. This show is brought to you by Justin Boots, the official boot of the Texas Rangers. I'm your host, Hannah Wing.
Welcome into Season 2, Episode 8 of Rangers Deep in the Heart, brought to you by our friends over at Justin Boots. I'm thrilled for today's episode because I might botch this, Chuck, but it is podcast time in Texas. I'm here with the voice of Globe Life Field, Chuck Morgan. Chuck, thanks for joining me. How are you today?
I'm doing good. There is a small user's fee for the little bit you did use there.
But we'll pay you some royalties. We'll figure it out after the recording's done.
That's fine.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing good.
Good. How's this homestand been for you so far?
It's been great because of what happened over the weekend and with Adrian. I mean, it was such a great day for our organization, for Adrian and his family, and then of course for our fans. But yeah, it's been a good homestand.
You got to be a part of Adrian's statue dedication, which was incredible. You got to MC everything from start to finish. The two of you actually went into the Rangers Hall of Fame together. So what emotions did you feel on Friday?
A lot, because just knowing what he meant as to our fan base and to our organization as a player, and it was important to me. First of all, I was a huge bet for a baseball fan to get to do something like that. I mean, that's just, I would never have dreamed of ever getting to do something like that. But to be a part of that and somebody like him that's been such a great player and that's really a special thing and really an honor for me to get to do that.
Rangers fans have really seen the player side of Adrian Beltre, but since you've been a part of the organization for so long, are there any stories or things that really encaptured who he is as a person?
You know, a couple of funny things that happened. When he and I went into the Hall of Fame together, we were out beyond the center field wall, and one of my grandsons went up to Adrian. I'm gonna get emotional right here. Anyway, he went up to Adrian and said, "I think my boom paw is gonna cry," and Adrian told him, "It's okay to cry today."
Aww.
And then the other one was he said, you know what was weird about that is, you know, I have to get those ceremonies ready to go and I have to write the script and everything. So it was weird writing a script that I was going to be honored. But anyway, he goes, "How long do you have me speaking?" And I said, maybe about 4 minutes. And he goes, 2 minutes too long. And so then when he got up on the stage to talk about the Hall of Fame, he said, "I was going to speak longer, but Chuck took all my time." But, you know, for me being a fan, just to get to watch him play every day was a special treat.
When it goes into those ceremonies, I mean, of course you do those year-round for the team. It's been decades of work for you here with the Rangers organization. But how do you go about preparing for such a special moment like last Friday?
My first thought is always the fans. I really want fans to feel what I feel as a baseball fan, that it's right here, and that it's important, and that it's an emotional moment, and it's just, and you're representing the organization. So that's the first thought. But really, I want to make sure the fans are taken care of, and of course the player.
What has been your favorite Adrian Beltre moment, either on or off the field?
Off the field, for years I've done these Q&As for a fundraiser up in Amarillo. Nolan Ryan's daughter lives up there, and they've got a place called The Bridge for abused women and things, and they raise money for it. So we do a Q&A up there, and I got to do Adrian one year, and so we get finished with it. It went great. He's as you well know, he's easy to talk to, a great interview, and so I went back to my hotel room, and my phone rings, and he says, "Chuck, what are you doing?" "Adrian." I said, "Well, I'm getting ready to go to bed, I guess." He says, "No, let's go get a drink."
Oh, that's amazing.
So that was, you know, we got to spend about an hour together, and we talked about baseball in Texas. We talked about his career. He talked about my career, but that was pretty cool.
Do you remember what the two of you drank that night?
I think we both had old fashions.
Old fashions?
Yes.
So two Rangers legends, Hall of Famers, just sharing some old fashions together. I love it.
Fantastic.
So speaking of statues, Chuck, if you had a statue outside of Globe Life Field, what moment would you want it to commemorate?
My moment?
Yes.
Boy, that's a tough question.
I'm
but,
throwing you some curveballs already.
That one, I really don't know because I mean, maybe, probably when I was at the podium, being inducted into the Rangers Hall of Fame, probably that, or if they could do another one of Adrian, have me and him together and let me tell it. When I told him he was getting a statue last year, he didn't believe me. He thought it was. He says, "Is this a joke?" I said, "No, this is for real." And but that something like that.
Why was it important for the organization to keep the statue a secret to eventually surprise Adrian?
Because I think so many poses they could have done. I mean, he's had so many moments like that, but I think they picked the right one. But I think it was important to keep it quiet and let it be a surprise. And, I've watched, they did such a great job on that building Beltray video
Yes,
that I've
they
seen
did.
over the last week. Fantastic. And I noticed he got to have a little bit of input, but he saw it, before it was finished. But yeah, that was pretty neat.
That's amazing. Well, let's start off with some fun rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So, Chuck, if you could have any celebrity throughout the first pitch, who would it be and why?
Celebrity throwing out the first pitch. Probably Robert Redford. And I'll tell you why, because I'm such a freak over The Natural. Anytime it comes on, if I'm flipping through the channels, I stop to watch The Natural. And I love that movie. So I would have Robert Redford dressed as Roy Hobbs to throw out the ceremonial first pitch.
So I'm assuming that the reason why The Natural is the song that plays when the Rangers are rounding the bases after a home run is because of you?
Because of me, but the idea came from, that's when I didn't start playing The Natural for home runs until Jose Canseco got here. And back in the day, the Oakland A's, on the cover of their media guide, had a movie poster. And one of the things on this movie poster said, and starring as The Natural, Jose Canseco. And I remembered that, so anytime Jose Canseco hit a home run, I would play The Natural. And then it just became a thing. Rafael Palmeiro wanted me to play it for his home run, so it just started out like that. And I really think it works. I still enjoy it. I think it's a grand thing when a guy hits home run. I get a lot of feedback sometimes from people. Like if somebody hits home run in the bottom of the eighth and we're getting killed, it doesn't really work like The Natural home run, but we play it for every home run. I still like it.
Hey, a home run's a home run, so we'll take as many as we can get.
Right.
I'm sure you've also seen and listened to so many player walk-up songs over the seasons you've been with the organization. What has been your favorite Rangers walk-up song and your least favorite Rangers walk-up song?
Well, I'm in an interesting spot because in the beginning, I'm the godfather of music, of walk-up music, was when we picked them. I always thought it was good when Juan Gonzalez came up to bat and we played the theme from Darth Vader's theme.
So you would pick the songs then?
Oh, yeah.
Before the players had to say?
Like Rusty Greer.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
He was from Alabama, and we played Sweet Home Alabama, stuff like that. Something had to do. It's similar to what, everybody says, hey, where did walk-up music start? Well, goes back in the day. We weren't the first guys. It was the organist in ballparks who would play something about a little song about his name or where he was from or something like that. So that's where that kind of originated for me. So yeah, it was and you said my favorite. I gave you my favorites, and you wanted the worst.
Yes. Is there one that you just dreaded having to play?
I didn't dread it because the player requested it, and to me, the most important thing is that guy's happy when he's walking up to the plate. So I never really didn't dislike anything. Now, I had some questions about a few, like the one that, and it really wasn't a song, but Prince Fielder had the air raid siren when he came up to bat. And, here in Texas, when there's an air raid siren or that noise like that, there's usually a tornado on the way. And I finally got to I didn't ask Prince why. This is what I want for walk. Okay, no problem. Well, then about a month later, I did an interview with him, and I'd already had a lot of folks call in and say, hey, how come you're using that? That's like a tornado's coming. And I asked Prince, I said, hey, fans have asked me why you want this, and it's what we play when there's a tornado coming. And he goes, I just want people to know something bad's about to happen, which was a great answer.
That's amazing.
But I've never had a bad one. I mean, David DeLucci had the Godfather waltz at one time.
They get creative, that's for sure.
And then Elvis has the one, it was called El Chacarron. Oh, it starts out like that. And I remember Nolan calling me, who was my boss at the time, and he says, what's that you're playing out there? And I said, well, that's Elvis's walk-up music. And I said, I think you need to lose that, but I've never heard a bad one.
All right, Chuck, let's get back to some baseball. So you started with the Texas Rangers in 1983. So you've been a part of so many Rangers history moments and just the good, the bad, the incredible, the world championships and the postseason runs, and you name it, you've been a part of it. So what has been your favorite Rangers memory from each of the ballparks?
Each of the ballparks. So Arlington Stadium, there's two. Nolan Ryan's 5,000 strikeout in 1989. We had never been in any type of playoff situation, and that was about the closest thing to a playoff atmosphere that we had had at Arlington Stadium. I mean, the place was full. There was a lot of buzz. We were playing the A's. The A's were good at the time, and that was probably. And the commissioner was here. Commissioner Giamatti, and it was just a big moment. And when it happened, I mean, and that's again one of those things you want to make sure that goes right for the fans, because that's a fan's memory. I wanted to make sure that it was right on the old Diamond Vision scoreboard, and then I wanted to make sure I said the right thing. And so that's a special moment for fans as well as Nolan and everybody else. But so the 5,000 strikeout at Arlington Stadium, the other one was his 7th career no-hitter, which I always found it's weird today to say this, but the 7th no-hitter was not televised locally, and it was on the Toronto station was carrying it. But we didn't know it was going to happen. To be a part of something like that was pretty cool. At the ballpark in Arlington, probably the first game was one of my favorite games at that place, because we had moved from Arlington Stadium, which was really it was a great place to watch a game, but it didn't have all the amenities that the ballpark had. And that first day when Van Cliburn did the national anthem, the best national anthem I've ever heard. I mean, he played it on the piano, and then he got up and sang, which we didn't know he was going to do. It was a great moment. And Kenny Rogers' perfect game. But probably the most important was the first time we clinched a division in 1996, and you know this as well as anybody, to invest a lot of time and effort and love and passion into something, and it finally gets to a winning situation. That was a great moment. So, and what was weird, we had a big party after the game, and we had a day game the next day, so it was a little rough.
That's fun.
That was a lot of fun. But no, that 1996, and then from this ballpark, I think the Corey Seager home run in Game 1 of the World Series against Arizona. I mean, I really don't want to think about it, but had he not hit that home run and we not win that game, we're going to Arizona 0-2, which is tough. But that Corey Seager home run, and then Adolis walked it off. It's the loudest I've ever heard a ballpark, and I really felt good for our fans that something like that had happened, and so that's the 3 moments.
So let's say the Rangers are building a new ballpark, hypothetically, and you have to pull characteristics from all 3 ballparks to make one perfect ballpark. What would you take from each one?
From Arlington Stadium, I'd take the old scoreboard, and
the Texas-shaped one.
The Texas-shaped one.
Love it.
And I tried at the other ballpark to get that. There was a little tip of the hat at the ballpark in Arlington. There was a big Texas out in center field where when we started out, there was a clock inside the state of Texas. So I would take that Texas-shaped scoreboard, because I can remember living in Nashville at the time, watching a baseball game of the week on the USA Network on a Thursday night, and I remember seeing that old scoreboard. This is like a year before I came here, and saw that old scoreboard, and I thought, man, that's pretty cool, the way that's shaped and everything. So I would take that scoreboard. From the ballpark in Arlington, probably, let's see, from the ballpark in Arlington, I'd take the home run porch. I always loved looking out there at the home run porch. I'd take that. and it's a throwback to the old days. I would also take, as much as a pain as it was to operate it, is the manual scoreboard for the out-of-town scores. To have guys back there working and changing the scores, that was really a throwback. So those two things have come with the ballpark. From this ballpark, I'd take that roof.
I knew that was going to be your
I'd take
answer.
that roof and that air conditioning, because for so many years, working at the two other ballparks, I watched folks with little kids just really suffer in the heat. It was really a tough thing. And the other thing I think a lot of folks forget about is not only was it the heat, but sometimes, especially the last few years, we'd have these rain delays that would last 2 to 3 hours. And to watch fans out there, you know how much I love the fans. I care about their experience.
Absolutely.
And to watch fans sit through a 2-hour rain delay with little kids, that's another tough thing. So, but that roof and that air conditioning, I'll take that.
And I'm sure your booth as well. The booth you have here is pretty impressive.
It's a tough place to work, Hannah. As you walk by there anytime, you see how hard I'm working. I'm watching a ball game, getting free peanuts and Cokes.
There you go.
But no, that's a great thing. And you know what's really special for me about that booth is before the game and after the game, I just let folks come in and we get to visit, and I hear so many great stories. I mean, there was a lady last night at the game against the Angels. She lived in Arizona, but she graduated from the high school I went to in Southern Illinois in 1957.
Oh, wow.
I graduated in 73, but she had seen something on a Ranger game in Arizona during a rain delay or something, and it was a feature about me, and she said she told her son that she wanted to go to a Ranger game and meet me.
Wow.
Which was pretty cool. So a couple of old Marion Wildcats. She was from 1957, I was from 1973, so that was pretty neat.
That's amazing.
That's what's special about that booth.
Oh, absolutely. It's also so fun to see fans' reactions when they walk by and then they realize you're in there. They sometimes can't believe it. It's just doing his job.
And
and
the other thing, I accomplished two things. I get to show off a lot of the stuff I've collected over the years, and it also made Star very happy because all of that stuff got out of the house. So all those bobbleheads and everything.
Built for the bold, the Frontier collection from Justin blends classic Western style with modern edge. With sleek looks and premium leathers, these boots are ready for anything. Find your Frontier today at justinboots.com. So I would love to learn more about how you started with the Texas Rangers. So what was your path to get here, and why was this organization the right fit?
Not the recommended path to get here. I mean, I had done PA in Nashville, Tennessee for Vanderbilt University because I had a good friend named Larry Schmittou, who was the coach at Vanderbilt, the baseball coach, and I'd known him for years, and he started up the Nashville Sounds baseball team, and he asked me to, I went over and got to do the PA for the Nashville Sounds, which we were the Cincinnati Reds and the Yankees, and I had to stop doing it because my time at the Grand Ole Opry was taking up more time, and I had to stop doing the baseball. But he became a vice president of marketing for the Rangers in the winter of 1982, and he called me in December of 1982 and said, "Hey, I've taken a job with the Texas Rangers, and I want you to come do the PA." And knowing what, you can't make a living as a PA guy. So what else am I going to do, Larry? And he said, "Well, we're going to have you sell stuff." I said, "Okay." So I never sold anything in my life. I first turned him down because at that particular time in my life, I'd been on Hee Haw. I'd just been named the 1982 Country Music Association Disc Jockey of the Year. The Nashville Network was starting up, and I was on a nationwide network. We had 100 stations, my radio show at night. People listened to politics with Larry King, and they listened to hillbilly stuff with me. So, but anyway, I had a lot of things going on, so I first turned him down. And then I thought for a couple of weeks, and not knowing that records were going to disappear, I thought, well, I'm 60 years old. Am I going to be playing records? Am I still be doing radio? So I changed my mind, and a lot of it was I've loved baseball as far back as I can remember, to be a part of something like that. And this is funny. I remember that old scoreboard, and in Texas, from a seat on that TV, on the game on TV. And when I came down here to visit in Arlington, and I fell in love with the ballpark. I just thought it was great, and again, that big scoreboard out in left field. And I've always wanted to come to Texas. And Larry Schmittou, who became the vice president of marketing, brought me down here and to do the PA and sell sponsorships
and now look at you.
Yeah, and run scoreboards and stuff like that.
You've also been quite the pioneer for the Rangers in-game experience as well, including the dot race, which is still a fan favorite to this day. What's the story behind the dot race, Chuck?
Well, it goes back to Nashville. When I was working with the Nashville Sounds, they used to have a game where two lights would chase each other. They had an A light and a B light that would chase each other across the bottom of the scoreboard. It was an old black and white matrix scoreboard, and these lights would chase each other. And when we got the video board, I was also selling sponsorships and promotions and things. So it was actually created because I was trying to sell a sponsorship to Whataburger. And, when we got the video board, I was trying to figure out a way, how can we come up with some kind of a race that would be quick and easy to understand. And so it took me about a month to come up with I built this is back in the day when the dots weren't live, the dots were on video. We had a character generator that was an old prehistoric thing that only had 8 colors. And it had animation, so I was able to animate these dots and take about an hour a day to build this cartoon. And then I took a top of a box and made a real live track that you could touch and feel with railroad model grass, and I used cinnamon for the dirt. I first tried Arlington Stadium infield dirt, but it would look too clunky. So I got cinnamon, so it looked okay. But I would superimpose these dots racing on this character generator. I had a camera that would shoot down onto the track, and I would run the dots around that. So that's how that started. But it was actually so I could sell. I went to Whataburger and said, "Hey, look, I got this idea." And back in the day, so the dots would race, and you'd get a little coupon, and if your dot won, you got a free soft drink at the Whataburger.
How did you decide on red, blue, and green?
Well, again, we only had 8 colors on that character generator, and I thought red, blue, and green would work the best. Actually, before blue came along, it was yellow. And I hope this guy doesn't mind me telling this story, but it was right before we started doing it. It was on Easter weekend, and he called me on Good Friday and said, "Hey, I've got your dot coupons ready, and I've done blue, red, and green." I said, no. I said, "Well, you gotta have yellow."
Uh-oh.
And he said, "Well, we've printed all these for blue." And I said, "Okay." So on the first dot race, I had yellow get hurt, and we had a little bitty ambulance come out and
Stop, that's so funny.
a little bitty matchbox ambulance. He picked up the dot, and we pulled, I had a string tied to the wheels of the
That's hilarious.
on this camera. And I guess I saved that guy's job, so he did have to reprint the coupons.
That is so funny. I'm not going to be able to look at the blue dot the same ever again. That's
And
incredible.
what's funny, I don't know why I didn't come up with blue in the beginning, because
The team colors.
it's a team color. So.
Makes too much sense. It's okay. So when you evaluate and just look at the Rangers in-game experience from when you started with the team until now, especially with, technology and Daktronics and just the capabilities that we have now, how have you really seen the fans' in-game experience evolve?
Just what you just said, the technology's changed. I mean, first of all, just the quality of the big screens. It's like watching TV at home now. I mean, the picture's so clear. The other thing, when we first started, and this happened for years, just been recently that we weren't able to do this, the reason those boards are there was for fans to get something at home, or get something at the ballpark that they got at home, which were replays. Well, in the beginning, we weren't able to show any replays. Anything that I always told the fans, anything you want to see, we can't show you. Mm-hmm. So any close plays, things like that, we couldn't show. but that's all changed. But just the technology has made it so much easier, not only with the video, but music. I mean now, you could email videos and stuff. I mean, it's incredible what's happened with the technology, and then we're able to, and then the other thing is people now can communicate with the phone. I mean, every night we watch
the QR code.
they communicate with the board with their phone. So it's really a neat thing now.
In your decades of working here, have you ever had an in-game idea or segment that you pitched that was a total flop?
There's been a few.
This is going to be good. I'm excited.
They've been there because they had maybe a one-game experience and then it went away. But you make mistakes all the time like that. I mean, probably the worst thing we ever did, we used to put captions under people's, put a fan up on the board, and we'd put a caption about it, like had a single, double, and a triple at Baskin Robbins last night.
Oh my God.
And
could you imagine if we still got away with that nowadays?
I know.
That's amazing.
But no, there's been plenty of things that just didn't work. And so,
hey, trial and error.
Yeah.
You figure it out. But when you do look at everything that you've accomplished with the Rangers organization so far, what are you the most proud of?
Probably, the dot race, obviously. Probably the fact that I've been able to, I've got this unbelievable streak going of games that I've been able to, life has allowed me to do that. And but the dot race is probably that, and any of the fan cams we do. I mean, just for fans to have fun at the ballpark. Probably the greatest thing that I ever did, and it's not around, and there's kind of a version of it that's still here, but over at the ballpark in Arlington, back in the day, the Rangers were wanting to build some space that created some revenue out in center field at the ballpark in Arlington. And I grew up from as far back as I can remember playing wiffle ball. And I went over to Atlanta to the World Series and at Turner Park, and they had a base where you could throw a baseball into a peach basket, and they had the speed pitch and things like that. And the one thing that they didn't have was a wiffle ball park. So I thought about it, and to build that wiffle ball park over at the ballpark in Arlington, and the fences were about 60 feet long, and it was an actual field, and we would and the other thing we would do is, and you may remember this, we'd have a kid in that wiffle ball park. If they hit a home run, we'd blow the fireworks when we went live out there. So probably that wiffle ball park was because it's something I did as a kid and just developed that idea.
And now known as the Primrose Playground.
That's right.
So we still have it in some capacity, which is pretty awesome. Fans on the other side of break will hear more about Chuck's family, hobbies, and life off the field, so don't go anywhere. Looking for boots that work just as hard as you do? Justin Boots delivers rugged performance, timeless style, and over 145 years of Western tradition. Find your next perfect pair at justinboots.com. Welcome back into the show. Chuck, let's talk about your life off the field, because I know that Rangers fans know so much about you here in your booth, here at the ballpark, but what is life like for you off the field?
Off the field, I'm pretty much a baseball freak. I mean, I watch a lot of baseball games on TV. Of course, I watch the Ranger games. So I spend a lot of time watching baseball of some sort, even college games. So, but I'm pretty simple guy. I mean, one of my favorite things to do is we've got a little land out west of Fort Worth, and an off day is to get on my John Deere tractor and mow the grass. I mean, I like to do that, and that's kind of relaxing, and listen to 60s music and stuff.
Have your peace and quiet. You can listen to whatever you want.
Yeah. So that, and then the other part of, Star and I have this great life, and we spend a lot of time watching again, sports, watching our grandsons play sports. We've got 6, and they're all boys. So we got
all boys.
All boys. We watch basketball, baseball and football. So
Are they all local?
all but one. One lives over in Alabama. His dad was a baseball player for the University of Alabama, and I used to go watch him play at Alabama. And so I got one over there who also plays baseball, football, and basketball. So that's what we spend a lot of our time doing.
How often do you get recognized when you go to those games? I'm sure they're fairly local.
Yeah, quite a bit. I mean, it's nice to be recognized. I mean, and it doesn't help that. I guess it's helped that marketing has had me involved in a couple of things a lot of folks watch. I mean, on the RSN now, I'm telling people to buckle their seat belts, and then done some commercials for Baker Brothers with Pudge. So yeah, and I'll run into a lot of people that either see me here at the ballpark or see me on TV, and then they'll ask me what time it is.
What has been the most random location where you've been recognized?
Star and I we got to go to the year we won the World Series. The season ticket holder that is the producer of some TV shows, and he invited us to be fill-in seat fillers at the CMA Award show.
Fun.
In fact, Corey Seager was there. We were seat fillers.
Oh, I was there too. Oh, was that in Nashville or in Frisco?
No, it was in Nashville.
Oh, okay, that was just Corey then.
Yeah, Nashville. And we went out to eat the night after that, and we're sitting in the bar getting ready to go to eat, and the bartender comes up and goes, "Hey, are you Chuck Morgan?" I go, "Yeah." He says, "Texas Rangers?" I went, "Yeah." So what are you doing here? And I explained to him. So probably being in a bar in Nashville, not,
Wow.
So that was, because I hadn't been in Nashville in a long time. It's always in the grocery store. I'll run into people that, and I always tell all the kids that come by, I say, "Hey, if you see me out there at HEB in Willow Park, come up and say hello,
I love it.
Yeah.
It happened to me one time at a Chipotle, and it was the day after the All-Star game. And of course, as you know, we all had 5 events a day for 5 days straight, and by the end of it, none of us had voices left, and we're just dead exhausted. So I'm sitting at this Chipotle in Dallas, and I'm eating because I'm so hungry, I'm so exhausted, I don't have food at home. And this guy comes up to me and he goes, "I'm so sorry, but are you Hannah?" And I look up and I'm like, this is the worst possible time, but so nice of you to come up and say hi. And
Well, it's always
you just never know. It's when you're not looking your best.
It's always a good thing. I mean,
It is.
never. I mean, again, I'm a baseball fan, and I get to work at the ballpark.
Absolutely.
And fans coming up and saying nice things, so that never gets old.
It means a lot. And I feel like the best part about our jobs, I feel like in a lot of ways we have similarities. We're just getting to be around the fan base, and just being so visible during the games is such a blessing, and so fun to hear about their stories and why they're Rangers fans and things like that as well. So, well, speaking of fans, Chuck, we have a brand new segment for the show called 5 Fan Questions.
Okay.
So I have this Justin boot right here, and we crowdsourced some questions from Instagram.
Okay.
Do you want to pick one and hand it to me?
Okay. So I'll take this one.
All right. Question
Number
one. What goes through your mind when there's pressure during a game? I'm sure you've had some pretty interesting situations to work through.
Don't screw this up.
That's so fair.
Okay. And I'll tell you why is because, for 2 reasons. First, the people in the ballpark. It may be their first time, and you don't want anything to mess up their experience. So that's important to me. It's the same thing. The other pressure thing is when you're sitting in that chair I sit in, and you're getting ready to do the starting lineups for the World Series, and they tell you there's probably 50 million people watching. You want to make sure you don't mess that up, because, it's the organization, it's fans' memories, it's people watching at home. So take care of those memories.
Yeah,
That's important.
I love it. Let's go to question 2.
Number 2.
This is fun. I like having this boot right here.
There you go.
Oh, we have 2 together. Oh, sorry. This is actually just a long question. When you played Little League, what teams were you on, and what number did you wear? Do you remember?
Yes, I do. Now, back in those days, in where I grew up in Southern Illinois, we didn't have, we weren't the Cardinals or the Cubs or anything like that. My first team was Bryan Furniture, which was
Bryan Furniture.
Furniture. My next one was the Bank of Marion. My next one was the Kiwanis Club. Then I played for Marion Finance, and then by that time I was at American Legion. So We did. That's the teams I played on.
I mean, no wonder you wanted to add so many sponsored elements into our game presentation. You've known that since birth.
Right.
So,
That's right. That's right.
amazing.
But no, we didn't have the team names. Those were the team. And we had, Ryan Furniture was orange with orange caps, but it had a big M on it for Marion. You're always proud to wear that
There you go.
cap with the M on it.
All right, let's go on to question number 3.
Number 3. There you go.
Thank you. All right, what is your favorite Rangers moment of all time?
Favorite Rangers moment of all time? Probably sitting in right field at Chase Field, and Marcus Semien has hit a home run. And I told Star, I said, I'm going to cry. We're about to win this thing. And that's when I was trying to get a crowd together. Where were you, Hannah? Do you remember?
I was in the tunnel.
Okay,
Because that game, we weren't really sure what was going to happen, but we all had to be down there, I think, by the 7th inning. So we all were just kind of down there and waiting. So we couldn't actually see the field, but they had TVs back there.
So about the 8th inning, that's when I tried to start organizing. We had a lot of employees there.
Yes.
Tried to organize a trip to the swimming pool at Chase Field. So
As
that
you should.
Once we won that thing, we were going to go into the pool. And of course, about the bottom of the 8th,
The horses came around.
they secured the pool.
They knew what they were doing.
But that sitting in Chase Field and watching the Texas Rangers win the World Series, and I knew when Marcus Semien hit the home run that we're here, we're going to get it. And of course, Star told me to shut up several times because I pitched in high school, and when I would see a guy coming up, I said, okay, if I get him out here, I don't have to face him again. So I started counting down the outs. I'd go, 7 to go. We're 7 away. 6 more. Shut up. So anyway, but yeah. So
That's
Chase
amazing.
Field.
Chase Field.
Yeah.
Some of the best memories in Rangers history.
Right.
It was funny you mentioned the tunnel, though, because I was waiting down there, and again, we didn't know what was going to happen. And it was a Fox National game. And so we both know my husband, Pierce. We love Pierce, but he is from Houston. But he was proudly in Arizona, decked out in his Rangers gear, living the time of his life. And the Fox crew randomly just panned to him. It was the most pivotal point in the 8th inning. Mitch Garver's up to bat, bases are loaded, and they panned to Pierce, of all people, in the stands. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is crazy. So I was down in the tunnel during that point, and I saw it on a monitor down there. And I was like, did that really just happen? So Chase Field is just home to a lot of great Rangers memories and just family memories.
You know, Hannah, I love the Rangers, and I always have. And if I'd have been your dad and you'd have brought a guy in wearing an Astro shirt, I'd said, you're not marrying that guy.
It's always cracking me up whenever we're in the press box and you stop me and you're like, hey, are you still married? And everyone looks at you like, is she getting a divorce? What's happening? And we're like, oh, we're just an Astros
She's
fan.
married an Astros fan.
I always love that joke. We've had it for about, 5 years now?
Oh, yeah.
We go way back. All right, let's go into question number 4.
Number 4. There you go.
All right. Who is your favorite player to watch growing up?
The first one was Stan Musial. The second one was a guy Bob Gibson, who pitched for the Cardinals, and then the Cardinals got Orlando Cepeda. He got traded from the Giants to St. Louis. I was a huge Orlando Cepeda fan, and in fact, I loved Orlando Cepeda so much that the Cardinals traded him in 1969, and I refused to be a Cardinal fan after that because I loved Orlando Cepeda. They traded him to the Braves, so I was a Braves fan. And then I ended up in Nashville, which was closer to the Braves. In fact, I'll tell you a quick Cepeda story if you got it. So I've never gotten to go to the Hall of Fame when one of our guys has been inducted because we've always had a home game. And so I told Star, she took 2 grandsons to the Beltray induction, and I told her, I said, hey, if you see Orlando Cepeda, take a picture of him for me. So I'm at home after a Ranger game, and I get this text from her and says, hey, is this the guy you're talking about? And she is eating dinner right next to
my God,
Orlando
how funny.
Cepeda. And
You're like, I might have to miss a game now to fly out there and see you guys.
But no, I've had, I grew up in an era in the 60s where I got to watch, I'd go to St. Louis to see Roberto Clemente play, Willie Mays. I saw Sandy Koufax pitch. I saw Don Drysdale pitch. And it was, I just loved that as a kid. I mean, and I collected all these baseball cards, and I just loved that as a kid.
Well, Chuck, thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom, all of your stories, and also thank you for allowing me to be in the position that I'm in as the Rangers in-game host, because you're the one that initially gave me that shot to begin with.
Not a problem. And you know, Hannah, you know, you love baseball. I just love the game so much. I love being around the fans, and I hope folks realize that it's a special treat for me, being a baseball fan, to get to do what I do. I mean, it's just fantastic. So I just have a great time. I really appreciate you letting me talk a little bit there.
Absolutely. This was wonderful. So Chuck, thank you again. And Rangers fans, make sure to follow Chuck on x.com at TexPAMan. Chuck, again, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. I'll see you up in the press box in a few hours for our annual joke that we have. With
Okay, I'll be glad.
Astros,
Again, I'm going to ask you.
Marital stuff.
Hannah, why did you marry this Astros fan?
He's the best person I know, but that's his only red flag. So we'll leave it at that.
That's a big red flag.
I know, it's a giant red flag, actually. An orange flag, I guess we could say. But until next time, Rangers fans, signing off from Globe Life Field, I'm Hannah Wing. Comment, like, subscribe, and let me know what you want me to talk about in our next episode. Bye, guys.